Hey, this is Tyler with Easy Agent Pro, and today we're going to be talking about real estate SEO, specifically everything you need to be doing online to get more traffic to your website. And SEO is a great way to do that because when you're being found on Google, number one, people trust it more. They trust that they found you through Google, which is a very good thing for building up trust. And then number two, it's also a great passive way to get traffic back to your website. So I'm going to break down right now everything you need to be doing on your website, whether you're making content or whether you're not, to start ranking on Google and start showing up for searches near you as a realtor. So the first thing is on-site indicators. If you can do everything you want off the website, build links, whatever you want to do things on social, and none of that will matter if you don't get this foundation right. So I'm just going to give you the blow-by-blow what I think matters and what how to do it on your website. The first one is keywords. So like everyone, keywords are the things that you want to show up for. So when someone types in maybe a neighborhood you're farming or information about moving to San Diego, that could be a keyword. And there are places you want to include that on your web page, right? So if you have a web page for San Diego real estate or places to move to in San Diego, you want to include that on the URL, the page title, 1 to 2% of the time on the page, in the titles of the images and the image alt tags. Okay? So that's where you want to include it on the page. Like I said, a good ratio if you're writing for SEO is 1 to 2% of keyword saturation. Anything more than that and Google starts to suspect that you're just, trying to rig the system and show up for that keyword, and they actually dock you once you get above that. So really just focus on providing content and value to your readers, and then the SEO will sort of take care of itself if you do these other things. Also, you don't always have to have the exact word-for-word keyword. Like if you type in how to fix my garage door, you're sometimes going to find, the ultimate guide for troubleshooting your garage door. And that's not exactly word-for-word the same, right? Those keywords are synonyms, they're supportive phrasings, all these other things. Google's getting smart about how they interpret web pages, so you really have to target that. Secondly, when you go to Google Keyword Planner, which is where you can find how many people are searching for certain terms, you're going to see most of the results that are way up here, right? The top 100 keywords. And they're super competitive. Every realtor wants to show up for those. But what you're not going to see is the 70% of the searches that are down here in the long tail. Maybe they get 10 searches a month. I suggest starting down here and starting to get some SEO traffic for those really non-competitive keywords. Maybe you can get 100 people to view your site for every small neighborhood in the city, and then eventually that'll build up to a bunch of traffic, right? That's a better, more attackable, more attainable strategy when you're first getting started than going after these big ones. All right, so I really recommend doing that. Secondly, you really need to put an address on this. There are two ways to do this. You can embed Google Maps, and that will actually boost your authority and show Google where you're located and just confirm that that's your location, that you're a local business doing business there. And then if you're also doing that, you can get local SEO for WordPress by Yoast. It's not free, but what it'll actually do is it'll flesh out the meta tags on your website, and that will make it hyper local and help it show up on Google. Then you also want to make sure that you use a correct phone number format, maybe something with a period, dash, or these parentheses, because that will help you make sure you have consistent information across the web. We'll talk about that later, but consistent information is really important these days. So the next thing that you have to really do is linking, right? So now our page that was the foundation. All that stuff is sort of laying the foundation to have a solid website. Internal linking is the most important part when it comes to on-page SEO because you're linking between your own pages. So what you'll want to do is if you're trying to rank a page for San Diego real estate, you'll always want to link to that page from other pages with that text. So San Diego real estate always points back to that text, okay? And you can do that with neighborhood posts, and you can link to that neighborhood, make that a static page, and then always link to that when you're doing new blog posts with that text. You really want to make sure it's consistent, whatever you're doing, right? So you write a 2,000-word post about a specific neighborhood you're trying to farm in your city. You always want to link to that page with the same text and probably something, homes for sale in that neighborhood. Always make it consistent and always link to it in the same way. Link it really deep. You don't want to be linking to your homepage or things like that. You want to link deep down into your website, so when Google follows that link, they start finding all these other blog posts and things you're doing really deep down there. Third thing we're going to talk about, blog commenting. So this used to be a really old SEO tactic. People would do, all sorts of spam comments across the web. Doesn't really work now, but what it does do is it boosts authority in your niche and it gets you referral traffic. Google sends traffic to websites with traffic. So you want to comment on areas like Inmin, on my site, on other people's blog posts, so that you get the referral traffic, and then the referral traffic will build up SEO traffic, because traffic breeds traffic to Google, and it gives you a non-follow backlink, which isn't as useful as a do-follow one, but it's still great. The next thing is client reviews. You really, really want to focus on, after the sale, setting up your autoresponder to get reviews, okay? We're all great at closing the sales after we get the lead. Now we got to get the review after the sale. It's almost as important. Two things you want to focus on here, Google and Yelp. Those are the two really important ones. The next thing is social media. You really need to have a high-powered social media presence to stand a chance in SEO. So the Facebook pages, I know you can't really get the juice you used to get out of them. People can't see your posts unless you boost them. But it's still really useful when getting people to your site through SEO. You really want to make sure you flesh out that address information. Street and ST period aren't the same thing. Same with Twitter. You really need to be on there. Marketing, Pinterest, same thing. That actually helps build links to your website. And then you have LinkedIn and YouTube. Both those are really great for getting traffic back to your site. Make sure you geotag those videos on YouTube. It's a great, Google owns YouTube, so you really, really want to go there and market there. The next thing is backlinks, and this is honestly, you can do all that stuff and you still probably won't see much traffic, but backlinks, if you can build honest local backlinks to your site, websites that link to your site, you're really going to see great improvement. So really focus on building this. I wrote this article back here, the 10 golden places to get backlinks as a realtor. You can find this on my site at easyagentpro.com. You really just focus on it maybe one day out of the week and start building up backlinks to your site. It's the only way you'll start getting traffic. Actually, I let people post on Easy Agent Pro if you have a story or something, so contact me if you're interested in that. You go get a backlink from it. Next is local listings and citations. This is honestly probably the most overlooked aspect of all this. More than 50% of businesses have incorrect data about their contact information on the web. You need to fix that in order to show up on Google. There are 4 major databases. Look at these. You can buy something with, Moz Local or Yext, and fixed all that address and contact information. Number one, people are going to find that on the web. Maybe not a majority, but definitely a minority will find that and get the wrong address or phone number for you. And this is actually the map of what that looks like. So Google's actually monitoring all these things, and when it comes to ranking your site and ranking your Google Places page, they want to rank the person who has the most consistent, accurate data, because that means that they're probably the most established player in the market. All right, and then the final thing we're going to talk about is load speed and mobile friendly. You really need a fast website and a responsive website. This isn't new, but you really need that in 2015 going forward to stand any shot at SEO. So this is Tyler with Easy Agent Pro. This is our complete guide to SEO, getting found on Google in 2015. Feel free to check us out at easyagentpro.com. You can find this on the blog. You can also find this backlink article. If you want a more beginner guide, we have that too right here. And then if you're interested in blogging, there's also this post about blog ideas. So be sure to check out the site. I look forward to seeing you there. I'll probably be chatting with you on the site when you're here. So see you on the site. Have a great day. Talk with you next time.